Hi there, welcome. There's a lot I want to share with you today, so let's get started with page 33. The prompt says to create an invention. You may or may not already know this, but I used Create This Book by Moriah Elizabeth and me, of course, as an art journal where I used the stamps that I own to create pieces of art. On this page, I used this precious and adorable little stamp of this little stitched kind of quilted doll. But first, I started by sketching and outlining a sewing machine on a separate piece of paper because I wanted to color it in with my alcohol markers. And the paper in Create This Book 2 isn't really made for alcohol markers. But that's okay. I just used a separate piece of paper and then I cut it out. This prompt came together pretty quickly actually. It was just the two images, the stamped image and then the sewing machine. I really wanted to include the sewing machine because I felt that it really drove the message home that the little stitched doll was created, as in the prompt said, create an invention. Even though I didn't make her personally, of course, but still, I think it really went well with the stamped image. My favorite part of this little doll is that she's kind of creepy in a way, so I wanted to really keep her light and fluffy with these light colors. So I kept it really simple with pastel colors. And I could have added something to make her eyes a little less creepy, which I think is kind of what makes her a little ominous. I could have added eyelids or pupils, but I really didn't want to do that because I wanted to keep her just as she is because I love her so much just the way she is. Believe it or not, I actually remembered to show the caps of what colors I'm using, but it's not in screen because I try to zoom in so that you can see what I'm coloring. So next time, what I think I'm gonna do is just write down the colors that I'm using. You can kind of see the caps of the markers that I'm using anyway, but next time I'll write it down and I'll show it on the screen. I think that might be best. Because I forget when I'm recording that I actually zoom in while I'm editing to show a close-up. Oh well, next time. So our leading lady here is basically done, and we're ready to move on to the next page. Pages 34 and 35 say to create a reminder, write something you should always remember. I thought about this for a little while and I decided that something that's really near and dear to my heart is to remember that I need to enjoy the little things, to always have fun. I think it's really easy to get distracted with the humdrum of the everyday. And for me, I'm really excited to have started this YouTube channel because it's a place where I get to express myself and really be me, and that makes me so happy. I can't even explain to you how happy that makes me. And the best way that I felt I could express that with my stamps is I found these little chicks that are at the beach and they're enjoying the tiny little events or the tiny little activities that they're each doing. Like a couple of them are just making a castle. One of them is just sunbathing with its sunglasses on. The other one's just eating watermelon. The other one's turned itself into a mermaid. Not to get all mushy on you really, but it really makes me feel sentimental because it's the little things that matter. At least to me it is. And so I thought this stamp set would be perfect as a reminder, for me anyway, to enjoy the little things, because at the end of the day, the big picture is made of little things. And I don't know, I thought it would be meaningful to me, so that's why I included these. All right, I got too caught up in my explanation and the page is almost done. So as you can see, I created a beach background, and I'm also repeating the colors I use on one side to the other side for the most part, just so that it feels cohesive. I do this pretty often, and I'm using my Copic alcohol markers. They're my go-to, and I'm pretty comfortable using them. And that's it. The third prompt I wanted to share with you today is create a scented page. The instructions say, use this page to capture your favorite scent or scents. I have to admit I was a little bit nervous about this because I do have a favorite scent, but I thought maybe if I sprayed it, I would start to hate it because I would be overstimulated or maybe overdo it and smell it too much, but I went for it anyway. So I started by sketching out this door, and then I went over it with some pen and I cut it out. My idea was to have a colorful, bright door surrounded by flowers, and kind of like the wind would just be gusting or blowing, and you'd get a whiff of my favorite scent. Is that too descriptive or weird or funky? I don't know, but that's kind of what I thought in my head. So that's what I went with. I did want the door right in the middle, so I made sure and folded it and then put it right smack in the middle. And then I went on to arrange my flowers. I didn't want to have to worry about gluing down the vase and then the flowers, or the flowers then the vase. So first I taped the flowers to the vase and then I glued it down. I don't know if you've watched any of the other videos in this Create This Book 2 playlist, but there was another video where I created with a stamp set from a Hero Arts monthly kit, and this stamp set actually also came from a Hero Arts monthly kit. That kit came with 2 stamp sets. It came with the vase stamp set and also the floral stamp set. It was a very pretty kit, and I'm so happy I was part of the subscription when this kit came out. The scent I chose was Beautiful Magnolia by Estee Lauder. I got this cute little bottle as a free gift with purchase, and I fell in love with the scent. I guess that's why they give you these free gifts, so you can try out their other products. I held the stamped images in my hand and I sprayed it, but honestly, I think more got on the actual book than the stamped images themselves, which is fine. I guess that's the idea anyway. And like I said earlier, I was really nervous that the whole book would smell and that it would end up stinking instead of smelling good, but I can confidently say I do still like the way it smells, and I'm so thankful for that. I wish I was one of those people that could describe smells better, because I wish I could let you know what it smells like. It's not floral, I wouldn't say that, and it's not sweet. So what is it? It's not citrusy either. At least I can tell you what it's not, I guess. Maybe it's more woodsy, maybe? I don't know. I can't confidently say that either. It's not musky. I don't know, maybe it is one of those things and I just don't really know what those things are. To be honest, before the sample, I really wasn't much of a perfume wearer. I guess it really won me over. Okay, on to my door, which is clearly yellow. I wanted it to be really bright and bold, and so I made it yellow. And I also am going to be adding some bricks because I really like those ornate doors. I do not know how to draw those ornate doors. This is the best I could do, but I really wanted a rounded top to the door, so that's what I did. But I also wanted to add those bricks on the sides because I think those look really romantic and pretty, and I think they complement the flowers really nicely. And of course, I use my Prismacolor pencils for this. Not just because they don't bleed through the pages of the book, but also because they have this rich vibrancy and this really pretty creaminess to them, especially when I use the Prismacolor blender pencil. And you can see the difference. The grain basically disappears and it like dissolves the color and it becomes so pretty. I didn't use it on the door because I like the texture that the pencil gives, but I did on the bricks, which you would think that I would want the texture, but anyway, I really like the smoothness on the bricks. I think it's because it makes the color brighter. It makes it pop more. After I had the background done, I moved on to the vases or the containers and their flowers. I started with the galvanized items. Do you guys remember a few years ago when everything in your great-grandmother's living room was galvanized? I swear, all the stores had everything galvanized. I didn't fall into that trend, but everything was galvanized. I mean, I can see why it became so popular. I think it had to do with like the country aesthetic. Maybe it's still popular today. I don't really follow trends, but you guys tell me in the comments, is it still going on? What's trendy these days? I I kind of wanted to make this boot yellow, but it wouldn't have made sense because I made the door yellow. And then I thought, oh, I should have made the door blue. And then I'm like, well, let's make the boot blue. But then I'm like, well, what about the little accents? Well, make them red. I don't know. I had a lot of inner monologue with this page. I'm having a lot of inner monologue now. Okay, I'm losing it. Anyway, some people really like craziness, so if you're one of those people, considering thumbs upping this video and subscribing. I'll also make sure and include a link to my playlist for Create This Book 2 with stamps in the iCard up here and in the description down below, as well as in the comments. So my page is just about done. I'm just coloring in the lavender now. And these other flowers, I'm not quite sure what they are. I remember some sentiments in the stamp set talking about pea pods. So maybe they were supposed to be green, but I colored them orange. I felt that that really went with the color scheme I had going on. And I think they ended up really pretty. So I think I made the right choice. For my next pages 38 and 39, it says to create a page. If you watched my video where I created abstract art, I went to the thrift store to grab some frames. Well, in that same trip, I also grabbed these Cinderella books. To my surprise, they had these sweet illustrations by the previous owners. I just had to share. After I'd selected all of my pages, I went ahead and cut out all of the images that I needed for my page. I got a picture of a pumpkin, of a castle, the frame that was really pretty with the silver and the diamond, and then I also got the 2 little mice and some flowers. The stamps that I used for this prompt is kind of Cinderella-esque. I'm pretty sure it's based on Cinderella because that's what it looks like to me. Maybe they didn't make it exactly so Cinderella. You tell me, take a look. I think for Disney reasons they couldn't name it that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be. After I had everything cut out, I went ahead and assembled it all. Then I actually used the thrifted books as reference for the outfits for the fairy godmother and for Cinderella. I think I got pretty close to matching the colors. I use my Copic swatch cards all the time and they're super helpful. I talked about them in my Create This Book 2 #1 episode. If you want to watch it, I'll link it in the iCard, but they're super helpful. The 5th prompt I want to share with you today is create color. The instructions say, make different colors by mixing paint, give each color a creative name. This prompt was a lot of fun for me. I started by sketching out a paint palette, and then I went ahead and cut it out and stuck it down to my book, right in the center. Afterwards, I wanted to add some depth to the paint palette, so I went in with a dark brown Prismacolor pencil and I blended it out with a Prismacolor pencil marker. Then I went in with a lighter brown and I blended that out as well. That way it kind of gave a wooden effect, but I didn't have to go in and draw in all the grain. I knew the main focus was going to be these little paint spots, so I didn't have to worry about too much detail on the paint palette. In case you can't tell, my paint swirls there are actually frosting. It comes from a stamp set that is made of the cupcake portion and then 2 different kinds of frosting, and I thought that this frosting would be perfect for this palette. To create color, I used my Derwent Inktense pencils and I chose colors that I really like. I chose cherry, teal green, mustard, red violet, and apple green. And then I added tangerine to the cherry, fuchsia to the teal green, violet to the mustard, poppy red to the red violet, and iris blue to the apple green. And then on top of that, I added the original color just to see what I would get. I was actually really excited to see what the end result would be. I ended up calling them Fruit Cocktail, Hot Mess. I was really worried about that teal green and fuchsia combination. Plum Lipstick, Vampy. I thought the violet and the mustard were gonna create this kind of browny vampy color. And then for the last one, all the way to the left, I called it Pretty Blue Green because I thought it would make a really pretty combination. And I think I was right. The only color I really didn't like was the one I named Fruit Cocktail. I don't know what it is about the pink hue. It just did not sit well with my stomach. It almost felt like with the swirls and the orangey pinkness of it all, it just kind of looked like guts in a way. I don't know. I just didn't really like it. It wasn't for me. But I guess that's part of the creativity, learning about colors you don't like. After the prompt was all done, I felt the page was missing a little something. So I went ahead and created a whole bunch of splatters in all the different colors that I used. And that was the perfect finishing touch. I really loved how it came together. Whew. Let me tell you, this next page was a challenge at first. So these are pages 42 and 43. The prompt says create beauty out of ugliness. I chose my least favorite stamp set. I got these at the Dollar Tree pre-$1.25 increase. I was so excited when I found a stamp set at the Dollar Tree. I grabbed it right away. What I didn't realize is I was just buying it because I was so excited, not because I actually liked it. When you look at the stamp set by itself, sure, it looks kind of cute a little bit, sort of. Not really though. I had no function for it, no reason to buy it, I had no need for it, and I didn't even like it. Like, I don't think it's hideous, okay? That's not what I'm saying, but it's not my aesthetic, it's not my style, it's not something that I would even use like in a million years. So I thought it would be perfect for this page because it says to create beauty out of ugliness. And to be quite frank, I don't think they're hideous, but yeah, I think they're ugly. So as you can see, the only way that I could find to redeem these stamps is to include my fur babies, because anything that involves them will be beautiful. The little brown chihuahua is Frida. The little tiny skinny miniature black pincher is Lucy. The pitbull chihuahua mix is my pearly girl, and our beautiful cat, the eldest, is Frankie. My thought behind this page was to kind of create a scrapbook layout, and I think it really worked well with these stamps. I actually kind of started liking them. I honestly think it has to do with the color scheme that I chose. I'll make sure and freeze frame each color set that I picked out. Of course, you already know I use my swatches from Copic markers. I did keep it pastel, but I wanted to use an ombre effect on the vases, and I think it really worked out nicely with the 3-color combo. I know it makes perfect sense that I would now love this page because it has my fur babies on it, but to be completely honest, I was still really surprised. I don't know why. I was just in such frustration in the beginning. I really disliked this stamp set, and I was so worried that there was no way I was going to be happy with this prompt. I thought there's no way to actually fulfill this prompt, but I was wrong. I really love how this came out. I don't think there's any way that I could love it anymore. I've shared another 6 prompts that I completed and create this book too with stamps. Let's do a quick flip through. I created an invention with my stitched doll. I created a reminder to always relish in the little things. I created a scented page with my favorite scent, and I also created a page with my Cinderella, quote-unquote Cinderella stamps. Second to last, I also created color with, they kind of almost look like poop frostings, don't they? Well, you know what I meant. They're supposed to be little paint dollops. And lastly, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, Pearl, Frankie, Lucy, and Frida. Join me next time for another 6. Let's create ugliness out of beauty, create additions, create a status, create a character, create a mini book, and create drips. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching today. And don't forget to like and subscribe.